Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coach Oak Show on Coach Oak TV. It's today, and you know what that means. It's time for another Draft League battle. This one is going to be post-com. Um, there is some stuff to talk about before we get into this. So this was a battle, likely for the last playoff spot. I was currently in the last playoff spot, 4-4 plus 4. We've gone 3-0 with the team. Lady Kaiser was also 4-4. I believe they were plus 0, and there was somebody else at 4-4 plus 1. So we're not necessarily winners in the playoff spot, depending on other results. But if I won, definitely in control for potential for that spot. However, literally turn one, I click something that is going to forfeit me the battle. I didn't realize light clay was banned. It was at the very bottom of the rules document on a line like Z crystals, whatever. It wasn't with the moves that were banned. It was below like Oka moves, all the kind of typical stuff. I had no idea. Replacement not knowing rules moment. That is what it is. So we do play this battle out for fun, but the live com is just not where it's at, since we had to stop and get people in to check, how they wanted us to proceed and all that kind of good stuff. So we are going to lead with Aurora's. It is going to click Light Clay, click Aurora Veil. It does have Light Clay. As soon as that procs, we are going to have a long line of chat going on. Daily Charge Bug, I don't actually have a rock type move on this. I'm Freeze Dry, Weather Ball, Earth Power. So hindsight, I think rock type move would have been better, especially because Electro does live Earth Power, which is annoying. But we're gonna just kind of sit against this Charger Bug while it sets stuff up, does what it wants to do. In that regard, we're gonna chip it down pretty good. It's gonna Volt Switch out here into Electrode. I didn't actually double check if Electrode got Rising Voltage, but I was assuming Rising Voltage at this point. That's what I was calculating. Does about half. So I'm going to stay in. I'm going to click Earth Power. Definitely thought about clicking Freeze Dry here to try to catch something on the switch, but just kind of wanted to check intentions, I guess. Freeze Dry would have been the better play. They're going to go in here. They're going to sack Charge Bug. And then, as I said, this is where we get into the mess of stuff. It's going to result in us deciding to play it out for fun, but they have a forfeit win at this point. I'm a little tilted at this point, just annoyed. Not, it's my fault. I'm 100% not blaming anybody. I do think the rules should be written in a way that makes that more obvious, but I didn't obviously read them full enough, and that is what it is. No one's fault. It just is something to keep in mind. But unfortunately, it does affect the playoff race. So, hopefully Lady Kaiserin gets in. Not that I don't want, I can't remember who the other person is, but just because this would be a shenanigan way to end things. Obviously, they're going to claim forfeit in that situation, obviously, which is absolutely fine, right? No issues with that at all. In this scenario, I absolutely should not click Earth Power because I clicked it last time, and going into Murkrow makes total sense after a Volt Switch. As I said, I was still in a little bit of a, not 100% their mindset. I just clicked super effective button. Freeze Dry was absolutely the better play here, which we would have seen in theory because they do Volt Switch into the Murkrow, which obviously would have taken more damage from Freeze Dry than Earth Power. I do click Freeze Dry here. As they go for Rain Dance. So they do repower my Weather Ball into a Water type move, but which we are going to click this time around, just because it does more damage to Armaldo, specifically if it comes in. They do go into Electrode, which we do actually crit. I don't think Electrode could have killed me there, but obviously it could have Volt Switched out and still been alive and all that good stuff. We would have clicked Freeze Dry probably that time. But Gorbis is going to come in the rain, take this out, which is fine. I don't remember what I go into next. I'll be honest. Illumise. And so Illumise and Cottony actually have no attacking moves between the two of them. Shell Splash Gorbis, as well as Quiver Dance Lilligant were big threats. So this is Spadef for both, max Spadef for both of them. T-Wave, Roost, Encore, and Sunny Day to take away all this Swift Swim stuff that we thought was a definite possibility. Cottony is Defog to get away Sticky Web, ideally. It is Liking Tail Switcheroo to make something go slow. Probably either Almaro, Lilligant, or Gorbis were the thoughts, as well as it is also Encore and Memento. Okay. We're going to try to get a T-Wave off here. They're going to go into Murkrow, which good play. I'm going to swap out into Pikachu. Dipplin? I believe I go Dipplin. I didn't love this matchup at all in prep because I don't really have great switch-ins to a lot of stuff outside Auroras. I probably should have swapped Auroras out earlier, but especially after the Veil stuff, I was just letting it sit and do what I need to do at that point, which is what it is. Diplin on the Gorbis turn was probably right, even though obviously they're going to Ice Beam after, but that is what it is. I'm just going to Giga Drain here. Probably should have dropped a Draco. I wasn't going to live 2, but I wasn't thinking one turn ahead at this point. I was very much just what's in front of me type situation. So I'm going to lose Diplin here to the Armaldo, which makes total sense. I have a few different options here, but I go Cottony and decide to go for the Lagging Tail Switcheroo because it's not Life Orb, unless it's banded, which I don't think it is based on the calc. I should live 1 with the Cottony. So the idea is we can Switcheroo the Lagging Tail, and then probably defog. Obviously, we do have options into like Memento and stuff like that, but defog the Sticky Webs away was where my thought was at the time, although we didn't get there. Because as you'll see, it's actually holding Assault Vest. So I'm going to have to struggle on the next turn because this Cottony just made itself absolutely useless. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I believe I go into Pikachu and just go ahead and fake out. So the reason for fake out, I should be able to kill with a Volt Tackle here. However, obviously if Marshtomp comes in, Marshtomp needs a little bit of chip before it's in Trailblaze range from Pikachu. So we're going to go for the fake out. In case it comes in, we can get the chip on the Marshtomp from there. We are going to swap out into Illumise, I believe. Nope, we're just going to Volt Tackle now. Right, that's right. We're just going to take out the Emeraldo now. We would deal with the Marshtomp when it came in. Murkrow comes in, we're just going to E-Speed that. It's going to drop. Marshtomp comes in. We're going to go into Illumise here. Idea is we can either essentially bait it with Encore and Roost. We can essentially bait it into either PP stalling itself or going into Gorbis to give me a potential chance for T-Wave type situation there. I'm going to speed this. Actually, no, I forgot. It wasn't that many turns. I was saying this more. So we're going to Roost. I believe I had T-Wave on this turn. Yes, so we do get the T-Wave on Gorbis. They do get full paired, unfortunate. We're going to Sunny Day, I believe, just to make this a little bit weaker, and as well as the Marshtomp weaker. They're going to miss a Hydro Pump. Downside of Hydro Pump, obviously. We're going to go into Pikachu. I should live Hydro Pump now. I do go Ice Beam. I do live that as well, just barely, but we do. We do go for, again, that fake out play to try to chip the Marshtomp, which is what indeed happens. We still need, it is in range of a roll. It's not in range of a consistent, so we would need 1 more, but it does leave us an option where Pikachu should be able, with Paralyzed Gorbis, and with, if it comes in and is able to fake out the Marshtomp, that it should be able to win with Trailblaze and Full Tackle, respectively. So, again, we're just going to put an Archoncore on the Marshtomp, do what we got to do. It is going to get a couple defense drops over the course of this, because I believe I Sunny Day again. And then the plan was to start roosting off. We do get another defense drop. I'm going to roost 1 more, and then it's just not worth it playing the roosting game at this point, especially with defense drops from liquidation and stuff. So we're going to swap out into Arbok. The reason I was hesitant to go into Arbok earlier is simply it had a Focus Sash in case things got sketchy with Gorbis, like it somehow got stuff up. This one I didn't really need it, but it was a failsafe into Lilligant, Armaldo, Gorbis type situation. We're just going to Trailblaze a couple times. Potentially could have gone Coil route, which probably would have actually been better in hindsight. But at this point, as I said, battle didn't really matter. I was looking for the straight ahead play, not the most effective multiple turns ahead type play. So we do that. I believe we go ahead and Trailblaze. At this point, the battle is essentially sealed. So we're just kind of doing what we need to do. I need a bit of chip in case of a Wakanberry, or with a super defensive Gorbis. Not even super defensive, but just, a Gorbis that was not a Shell Smash variant, and then we're able to just come in and Bolt Tackle. So we do pick up a 2-0 win, but it is a 3-0 loss in all practicality. Again, sorry to my opponent. I know that's a deflating way for playoff stuff to happen. It is what it is. I got to read the rules better. Be smart, people who run leagues, if something's not a usual ban, please put it more prominently, because I just didn't see it, and that is what it is. I normally read that stuff pretty close. So, as I said, no one's fault except mine, but have a great day, everybody, because Coach Oak said so. We'll be off for a little bit. I am hoping to get a league going kind of near the end of April for a couple months, but I will keep that. That might be the next time you see me. We'll see how things go. Have a great day, everybody, because Coach Oak said so. Goodbye and good night. Bye bang.